cause I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya.
Cool, so getting a session in today with Liv, just a back session. Just go over a few things with her training really, trying to bring up her back a bit, trying to bring up everything in general, but back mainly. So just going through some movements, good to see how she trains, good to see as a coach how she performs some exercises, so if I can tweak anything I will, and then we're just gonna have a good session basically.
I'm not going home with ya.
When you put your knees under the pad, your legs under the pad, try not to go too far into it. Try and have it as close as you can to there, yeah, so that you've got that bit there. Because then your range is extended, so you can actually get that full extension out of it. Because you've got long arms, like me, isn't it? So you're trying to get a good stretch out of it. When you're at this sort of point here, get that position and pull down sort of just to your chin level. When you start tucking it in and trying to squeeze that last little bit out, just going to put you in a really weird compromised position, especially when you start lifting heavy. So just full stretch for this extension. Get that so pull down there, squeeze it out. And the good thing about these bars as well is because you're able to, it's going to take some of your forearm out of it as well, because you can it forces you to use a hook grip anyway. When you get people who are when you're eager to train and sometimes they're getting carried away with warm-ups and things like that, can be a thing. Do you know what I mean? You can be you're taking out energy that could be used for those super heavy working sets. Those are the ones that are going to do the damage. That's going to be good. So 3, 4, 5 rep for those sets when you're starting to get to that high point, and then when you're ready to hit your full-on working and then back offs if you're doing them, at least you're relatively fresh for it, because it's people do 15 reps and it's 4 sets, and the same one they're still using the same way, and I'm what are you doing? Practicing my arm wrestling.
You're thinking about signing up for arm wrestling then?
I might do it. I think it'd be fun. Be one thing I might actually be okay at. If I could use my triceps, because my biceps are weak as piss. If I can find a way to tricep press them, I'll be okay.
What muscle group does it actually use if you really think about it though?
It's a load of, it's forearm and wrist. It's all forearm and wrist, isn't it? Because it's
Maybe a bit of pecs.
Top roll over the top. A lot of back, I would imagine, really. So years ago, I can say this now, years ago, Liv competed in PCA and first timers. She had by far the biggest legs on stage. It was just no one, you'd have to be just doing that to not know, right?
It was popping out.
Yeah, a glute, ham, everything's popping. And the feedback was, needs to bring up her legs a little bit. And I just messaged the guy back, I was really? And then I sent the picture of the side shot. And your quads are just this fucking, as big as some of the other girls. And then I was well, everyone has their own opinion on things. And I'm now you're backtracking because you're fucking chatting shit. So, just saying that I don't give compliments out very frequently. And it's mainly because, as a bodybuilder, as a competitive bodybuilder, you shouldn't need a compliment for doing what you're just supposed to do. If you go above and beyond for any way, whatever, or you do something extraordinarily well going forward, then that's mint. But you don't get a compliment for just eating your meals, doing your training, and managing your program in general. You should just do that. That's not compliment worthy. You should just be doing that if you want to win. But if you're able to go above and beyond for whatever reason, then it's all right, yeah, well done. But people just want it, want compliments all the time. I'm I think I'm known for it now. Eat some more chicken and rice. All right, really? Okay. Yeah. Doing cluster set. Dr. Scott Stevenson, the OG, the absolute whiz. Absolutely mint. I've offered him £1,000 a month to coach me, but he still won't do it because he doesn't coach people anymore. But he's absolutely mint. So cluster sets, the way he does them, it's part of his fortitude training. So we just take a principle from that and we'll just apply it to this. So essentially it's 4 reps, 6 sets, and in between each one there's 4 or 5 seconds sort of catching your breath, and then go again. If you don't hit muscular failure at any point there, then you on the last set you just keep going until you hit muscular failure. If you do hit muscular failure at any of those points within those 6 sort of micro sets, so to speak, you drop the weight and then you continue the sets as normal, essentially, to reach the full 6. So it's like a method of progression, method of progressive overload. And Dr. Scott's awesome. Everyone loves him. Just more arm wrestling practice.
Clearly the goal now.
Yeah, I might have a go to it. Be fun. Might be able to win at that. I can't win at bodybuilding, so.
How many arm wrestlers know about PED protocols?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't witnessed someone walk in on halo testing, have they? No. Fuck, go! Rip their arm off the bone if you're on Superdrol and halo going in. But then again, your tendons probably wouldn't be able to keep up with how strong you are, so you might rip your own arm apart. When I do it, I am thinking about my hand being not so much on here and more so like here. Like, obviously the grip doesn't suit that, but like, fuck it. But like, yeah, and then can you keep it there? Because one thing, I think that's one thing that John Meadows actually did, but he passed away obviously, which was horrible, but he had some really amazing stuff for like shoulders and mid outs, because he got someone doing like leaning over like a bench like this, so you essentially hunch over, have your arms like rolled over in this position, and you'd essentially just do this with like 5 or 7 kilo dumbbells. Bear in mind he's a fucking 212 strong ass bodybuilder, and he'd just do that for like 80 reps, and just do that, and he was like your rear delts stabilize a bunch of your pressing movements and stuff. So if they're not used to any load whatsoever, and you're just like fucking, I'll do a bit of them at the end of a session and I'll go home, they're not getting the same treatment really. And he's like, so if you want that 3D shoulder look in like your side shots and stuff like that, he was like saying, you need to start at that range and just fucking get like the actual connection to them, and then eventually build weight and whatever. And I was like, I'm really hungry, but like, I don't want to like fuck up my stomach like with like loads and loads of food, because I don't want to sleep shitty, because then I got to be up early tomorrow and to go see Natasha and Babs as well. And then I was like, I got a can of soup. And this guy who was like a Romanian dude that we knew was like, well, you have to have this type of soup. And I'm like, I think this is the right one. It was tripe soup. It was pretty vile. It was just like a chicken broth with like pieces of like tripe in it. So, but I'll eat anything. I will eat anything you put in front of me. That was quite a hard struggle though. That was quite difficult. Wouldn't do it again. Ben had just like come out of like a diet, so he was like super hungry. I think he tried a bit of it and he was like, that's fucking disgusting, even for like someone who's just like been eating poverty food for the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It's funny. Anything tastes good, but not that.
You said what we're doing with the biceps.
No one trains biceps.
No one trains biceps?
No one trains biceps.
I'm glad I haven't, because I have huge biceps. They're literally nothing now. They're like, look at that. Look at it. Boom.
This is called the Haynes curl. What you do, I didn't invent it. This is just using a fucking gym pin knockoff bar with mismatched carabiners.
I think it actually is a real gym pin bar.
Oh, is it?
It's probably going to take a
Oh
fence.
god! All right. Clearly, I know nothing about gym equipment.
Get our biceps jacked.
Yeah, this is the get your biceps
This is
jacked.
the ultimate bicep
Yeah.
curl you need to do.
I don't know if it is. Someone will come up with something technically better at some point, won't they? Boring.
What does this forearm thing do?
So you've got basically this area of your forearm essentially is what we're working on. I don't know the technical term for what it's called. I'll have to look it up because I'm not that much of a guru with this. But essentially, yeah, just something that people neglect. If your grip's strong as well, I think that you can. Because if your grip gets like very strong, when you're training your back movements, you don't have to worry about your grip as much because it's an easier process for you to just hold on to the bar that you're gripping. So you can actually activate your lat a little bit more. Something I think neglected a little bit. Unless you only train with like cuffs, and in that case, like, I don't know what to do.
That's me.
But I don't think it's a very casual gym. Right, so all done for today, all wrapped up. Good session actually. Oh, it's good. My back's roasted. First proper session in a while because I don't really train very hard when I'm on my own. But yeah, no, good session. Potential competitions in the future for Liv. We don't know what yet. We'll sort of plan that out as it comes along. But yeah, good to see how she's looking today, off season wise and stuff. Good to get a good session. I think we're good to go. Yeah, it's all right, wasn't it? Go and eat. Go and get some food in.
Flex.